Yo, this is Joe the Groove. We're just going to have a quick interview with Lee Foss, hang out with those guys, and we'll see you in a bit.
Yo, this is Lee Foss, and you're watching the Guestlist Network. Peace.
Here at the Guestlist Network, I'm with the infamous Lee Foss. I'm just going to get the download with Lee. What's happening, Holmes?
Oh, good. Apologize if I have a cough during the interview, but it comes with the lifestyle.
Okay,
but, yeah, all good. Just working on the Hot Natured album and touring, and busy as a bee.
Cool. So when's the Hot Natured album? When's that going to drop?
Right now, it's looking like late summer, early fall. We've done a bunch more vocal tracks. We've got, I think right now we had most of an album finished already. Going into doing these vocal tracks, I think we're gonna do it probably as a double album with like the stuff that we completed last year, sort of the prequel into like the current thing where we're doing like lyric-driven vocal songs like Forward Motion. We've done a lot more with Ollie Love, some good stuff with Kenny Glasgow. Excuse me, and we've got some other vocalists coming in. We're really excited about the songwriting process and telling the story. And we've got, I think, an interesting concept to the whole album and like a backstory for us as artists. Like that it's gonna be a concept, and I'm happy with it.
Okay,
really cool. We're working on it full time. I'm doing 4 or 5 gig weekends and then coming back and spending literally 16, 20-hour days in the studio. Go back to LA for 4 weeks on Thursday. Yeah.
So you come back every month to work on the album with Jamie?
No, I live here and I just live both places. I just tour, I do some touring here and I do some touring there. Like, I've done a lot there primarily because I have some visa issues with Europe. So the UK isn't a problem, but right now, mainland Europe is. So until that sorts itself out, I've kind of got to
work around
split time and do do all the other ones Romania, Russia, Tunisia, South America, North America, Japan, Australia, stuff like that.
Yeah. So just going a little way back. You growing up, what kind of music were you listening to?
So I went through a few phases where I would listen to bands briefly, like Weezer and Bush, but for the most part, until I was 16, 17, all I noticed was hip hop and R&B, and I was just lucky that was a really that was a golden age for that music. It was a specific time. In the same way, Teddy Riley. I had all that. That was my that was my thing. And it's paid off down the line now because a lot of my friends and a lot of European producers, as they catch on to our sound, or as the sound changes and is more and more about kind of the things that we've been doing, I've got the leg up that I know what's corny and what isn't. And I was there, and I've played hip hop. Yeah. I've been a professional, as my taste changed, I got into house, when I was 17, 18, and when I moved to Chicago, I got into 80s funk and disco and started to play that out. When I was 21, 22, I started getting into that, and it's given me an advantage that as things shifted into disco in the last couple of years, and then currently it's people more and more interested in R&B, I know what are it's different for people if they just hear a song and they like it. There's a difference between really knowing what were the corny songs and what people knew were underground and special. There's a difference between knowing what was a hit, what was just corny and played out at the time, what was special, and knowing why you can lace a vocal that's got meaning and is familiar, but people don't know why they know it and why it's special, and knowing how you can influence that sound. I think it makes it more special if you lived it and it has value to you than just people mining through music they don't know.
So how did you first meet up with Jamie? How did that happen? Because you guys are now kind of doing an album together. He's been doing his own thing, but You guys just like properly bonded.
No, Jamie's been one of my best friends for 10 years.
Cool.
We met in Ibiza in 2001. The situation with us is, I mean, I had to be back in America for a while, and you know, at that time he you know, started making music, and I saw his success from afar, and you know, I would bring him to DJ in America, and it definitely opened my eyes that, like, you know, if he was doing it with something that I can do. I consistently started at everything a couple of years behind him, but like I kind of, you know, I saw the success he was having, and you know, it definitely ingrained in me like we need to work on your DJing. And when he started making music and it was really good, it imprinted on me
even more. Yeah.
You know, he's not coming with any more of a musical background than you, and he's one of your best mates. You should be trying this too, because this is what you're passionate about and this is what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until summer 2008 that we started making music together. By then I'd moved to Los Angeles, and he'd been coming to play for me in Chicago for a long time, and he'd started to come play for me in LA, and I've been working with Droog on doing parties, and there was the idea for doing a label. So the plan was for us to work towards some music for this new label, and it clicked really well, so we decided to keep doing it. And I think, yeah, Jamie's always done it on his own. He's had a few collaborations, but I think because I had something to bring to the table, you know, it was more interesting for him, because I you know, there were things like my knowledge about, you know, hip hop and R&B and like movie samples, and like my knowledge about 80s funk and disco like that. At the time he wasn't as into yet, that, you know, maybe because I was doing a lot of edits, like as I go back and listen to the music that I was making in, you know, 2006, 2007, 2008, it was definitely releasable. I was just giving it to people with very high critical standards, but people, I mean, they should have been released, they just weren't. But the things that perked their ears were the edits and the things that I was doing, because, you know, I was good at that, and I had an ear for 80s funk and disco and a knowledge base for it, and an ear for, you know, 90s hip hop and a way to combine it. So, you know, he was, I think the fact there was a few of my edits that were a couple of his favorite songs perked his interest enough to be into it.
Yeah.
And like the experience, because even in the early going when I couldn't really provide much help in the physically playing notes or anything,
Yeah,
you know, I had a lot of good ideas, and I think in music the good ideas are more important than anything. I know a lot of people who are fundamentally sound in production, who know how to make well-produced music that sounds like engineered well, sounds polished, but
the idea,
you don't have any ideas behind it. If you can't play the notes and you don't have any good ideas for a concept or sample, or, you know, at the end of the day, it's good ideas. People want to hear stuff that means something, that's clever, that's smart, that's meaning, that's cool, then that makes them dance. So you can get away with, you know, not being the most polished if you have good ideas and you've got an ear.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So what have you got planned this year, man?
Well,
I mean, because obviously you're finishing the album, but besides that, are you just gigging and finishing the album?
I mean, so busy, it's ridiculous. I've had a lot of releases already this year, and I've got my next Hot Creations EP comes out on May 23rd in a couple weeks. So that's another 4-track. I mean, I've already had a couple EPs this year and quite a few remixes, and I've got a DJT remix coming out soon, and a remix of Lee Brings, and I've got my Hot Creations EP. I'm working on my own album for the end of this year. We've got the Hot Natured album.
Bro, hang on, so you guys
the Hot Natured EP just came out. No, and I'm working on another project with Kenny Glasgow called Undercovers. I mean, it's just a really busy period for me. It's like
that's good,
full bore into my just like work right now. I'm in work mode. And a lot of travel, a lot of gigs, and with my situation, every now and then, you know, there'll be I've kind of got bad luck in a way, but I've kind of realized, like, say, like, there's a situation that stitches up a gig or stitches up travel, and then, you know, maybe it stitches me up out of money. I've come to realize that it's really a balance that life is trying to give me, and it's always for a reason. Like you need to be working on music, or you need to step back because you're risking your health. You're doing too much. Because I kind of feel like I've done that like in the last 6 weeks, and sometimes things happen out of your control, and I start to realize
balance, right?
I need a bit of balance. But yeah, no, I've got a busy year. I'm just back and forth, and I mean I can't speak too much about gigs because until I know more about being able to go to Europe, I can't specify too much because there's some big things that are on the horizon if I can, and if I can't, there's still a lot of great ththings that are happening
already.
But music's going good, and like I said, there's so much coming from the label. Like I could, too much to even mention, but we've got some of what I feel are the year's biggest records, and like For Emotion just came out, the new Hot Natured EP featuring Ali Love, and I think the B-sides are really strong. The Hot Natured album, I've never been more excited about anything in music. I've got my album, I've got my Hot Natured EP, but we'll have to have another Hot Natured EP before the album. So it's just, it's a lot of music that people will get to appreciate soon.
Right, this is Lee Foss, Gel the Groove, word.
Alright, nice one. Big up.